Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here basically we are discussing about one the currencies, and this currencies basically we are discussing about the dependencies in the dependencies. Basically we are discussing about the ideas. Idea is equal to global warming, and global warming actually it's not error. Basically somebody is trying to find out the error and basically solving. In this basically we are talking about the 12th number error basically. In this error basically we are talking about the error basically that is 12th number error, that is 20 percentage is basically error basically which is created by the system basically. The example basically is that girl basically who basically was drinking wine basically in India basically, and the girl basically who was drinking wine in USA basically. In USA basically it has not converted into error basically, but in India basically it has converted into error basically. That basically is the education error basically, that is error basically, that is literally created. And the second example, one person basically was having good knowledge, he got divorced, and he basically that he was basically not powerful basically, he was not having money, he was not having system basically power, so he basically was not getting job, and he basically converted into error basically, so his entire education basically converted into error basically. So this is also basically error basically. So now one of the person told that basically the 200 people basically the example which we have given, that also is error na basically. Then the yes basically that basically is error by created by whom basically, system basically. This example assume that basically it's of India basically, this 200 people basically who got the disease basically, that is basically from error na basically, that is the yes basically. In this basically entire system basically came into picture basically, and they physically fired that particular person basically. Then he told that yes basically they fired the entire system basically, sorry, the entire system fired this particular person basically, entire system basically fired that particular poor person basically, because he, the reason was he basically was divorced basically, and that girl basically was very powerful basically and very rich basically. Due to that basically he was not able to find the job basically in software company basically. So due to that basically entire software company basically become one, and basically they also fired that particular boy, and they also converted his education system into error. They have converted his education system into error basically. Why? There was no error basically, there was no error basically. For example, one person told that yes Sunil to yaar basically his education, see his education basically, he is become, he is 22 plus experience in software industry. Somebody told that ये सब बकवास है, whatever things basically is telling, that all are basically wrong basically. The 11 parts basically of the land basically, that is wrong basically, that is not correct basically. The 11 parts basically of the earth planet is basically done basically, that is not in here basically 11 is just taken as a number basically. There is no basically parts of the 11 sorry, the earth planet has not divided into 11 basically, who told it basically. And some energy basically is jointing basically the merging the earth planet basically, some I think is wrong basically. I think he's telling wrong basically. The earth planet basically is not divided into 11 parts basically, and the entire Asia basically is not divided basically. Like this one of the person asked the question basically, who actually divides the land basically. Then one of the person told that that is very difficult question basically. Because earth planet basically can't do basically, earth planet basically can't do that. Then he told that basically universe group also basically can't do that basically, up to that level power basically universe group also not. Satellite group basically can do that basically. They basically can, they, if they are, they basically know that when the earth planet was created, how many on the basis of how many pieces the earth planet has created basically. They have merged the entire earth planet basically, right? They have merged the entire earth planet basically, so they basically know that basically how basically the earth planet basically is merged basically. So here basically we have taken the example of 11 basically, but in real basically there might be 100 pieces basically of the earth planet. On the basis of that basically the earth planet basically has created. So one of the person told that basically that might be correct also. For that basically one of the person told that we have created that tomato planet basically, right? So the satellite group told that basically yes, basically we have created that, basically taken around 104 basically pieces, basically on the basis of 104 pieces we have created the potato planet basically. Then he told that basically that is merged, right? Basically yeah, that is merged, but solution basically are there to divide basically. Solution basically are there to divide. Whenever they require basically we have to divide, then basically they divide it, and whenever they say that basically we have to merge, then they basically merge the data. So that's very dangerous basically. So like this basically things basically are there. So here basically again back to that 20 to 20 percentage error basically, which is basically here basically we have taken three example of the error. One basically 200 people basically, and one that girl basically was drinking wine basically, and third basically error is the system error basically, that is 200 basically. Then one of the person told that that basically third idea basically you can say as a diverse person basically. The diverse person basically was educated, but their system basically, the IT system basically, software company basically created their his education into error basically. Now basically we will talk about few more error of the 20 percentage error basically, which is basically into education. So one of the person told that basically we will finish the entire 80 percentage education from this world basically. Then he told that basically sorry, we can't allow basically to finish that education error. Then he told that basically why you are basically there is error basically that you know basically. Then also why you are doing the production of the CRM software basically. How basically you are creating this CRM software equal to tomato and potato energy basically. You are not creating basically. Then he told that yes basically they are basically creating, but few software basically who's basically having lots of error basically, that software basically is doing stop with, we have basically stopped doing the production basically from that software basically. Few software basically they are telling that they basically if they stops, then basically it will create the problem basically. Reason, they have created the permanent blood cells basically in the human body. Then one of the percent, the 20 percentage people basically told that basically who given the permission to add permanent blood cells in the human body basically. Then he told that the 80 percentage people told that basically that was our error basically. We were not supposed to do that basically. But in this basically your system also told na basically. Yours without your system basically, without your system basically, how these blood cells basically become permanent basically. Then basically 20 person told that basically he was not able to tell anything basically. Then he told that, that is also the education partner basically. That basically system people basically were sitting in the parliament house, that is also part of your education only, that is 80 percentage. Then he told that yes basically. That time also basically the educated person basically was not able to speak anything basically. Why? Because he know basically that was error basically. That means one of the person asked basically the non-educated people basically are more than basically qualified than the educated people basically. This was basically one of the person in the forum told basically, because he was giving that type of answer basically. He was telling that basically the system only basically given you the permission to have the blood cells permanently. That means basically your system basically is not educated basically. The parliament basically house people basically who are sitting basically, they are mafia group basically, you want to say that basically. The parliament house people basically who are sitting basically, they are mafia group basically. This was basically told by one of the person basically. Then he told the person, no yaar basically they are not mafia group basically sitting in the parliament house basically. They are not mafia. All are educated. See basically. Few are MBAs, few are IA from IITs. See basically. Few are from IIM. See basically. Like this in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this education, that is 20 percentage, 100% error is there, and this will convert into a 40 percentage in future is action is basically not taken by the satellite groups.